beaten down for nuking Iran's nukes or their nuclear program. There's people out there asking, well, listen, isn't this the same thing? As a matter of fact, my producer made a point before the show and asked the question: Is this kind of like the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, guys? This is so. I really think sometimes we have to slow down and really just take time to think. Just because something is happening in the same region doesn't mean the same thing is happening. For one, this is Israel's war. I want to make that emphatically clear. I believe that it's Israel's war, but I'm okay. I'm okay with Trump saying, listen, we tried to work a deal with Iran. Iran's got to get rid of their nukes. We're going to hold them accountable. If holding them accountable means that just we sick Israel on them, I am all for it. Frankly, I already believe, this is my personal view. I know that everybody is looking for this bunker buster bomb. Will America provide this bunker buster bomb? I got a feeling that Israel already has what they need to make things happen when it comes to that Fordo, I believe it's called, facility that they have. That's literally, I think it's 90 meters underground, which is absolutely astonishing and amazing to me. But this is not the same thing. First off, let's talk about the weapons of mass destruction. Let's talk about Saddam Hussein. All right, so we took out Saddam Hussein in the Middle East, and everybody wants to pretend as if everybody knew the right thing to do at the time. When 9/11 hit, everybody was scared. Everybody was like, oh my goodness. We were willing to sign on to the Patriot Act that we realized later screwed us with no Vaseline. All right, so we get that now. So a lot of these people that are talking, even people on my side, this is 2020 hindsight, but this is completely different from Iraq. First off, in Iraq, you had Saddam Hussein, who I would argue, even though Saddam Hussein was a bad guy, he should have been left in place. But that's 2020 hindsight on my part. This was after we went into the Middle East on 9/11. Why? Because we could see how it destabilized the region and how Saddam Hussein was able to keep people in check, like the ISIS, like the Al Qaeda's of the world. You could say the same about Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, when basically you had the Obama administration that essentially had him killed, had him taken out. And I remember watching the video of the guy almost lifeless with these people parading his body in the streets, basically, or maybe it was in the back of a truck. But man, it was just it was crazy. But that area became a hotbed for terrorism, for terrorists that were starting up. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening in Iran. In Iran, all right. So with Gaddafi and with Saddam Hussein, they kept the crazier, the more evil people in check, the terrorists in check. When it comes to Iran, it's the terrorists that are in charge. And then you have the Iranian people that are Persian people. They're not Arabs. They're not Arabs like the Gazans, right? If you will. These are people that had a beautiful country, a free country, and then things went awry. Things went awry under the Carter administration, and they bolstered up the Ayatollah, and this guy has ruled with an iron fist. And anybody that gets out of line, including some of the protesters there, these people are shot and killed or hanged on the spot. And they have ruled with an iron fist. These people that want to be free, you'll find them on camera. And this is not just me. I've heard this from other radio hosts and other researchers that have said, on camera, some of these people might shout death to America in Iran. But the truth of the matter is, if they don't, they will be smoked. The same is true with Putin. With Putin in Russia, if Putin comes, or Putin's people come and knocks on your door and says you're going to a rally to celebrate Putin, you're like, okay, let's go. All right, chap. Otherwise, you're going to be disappeared. That's the way it works in these countries, these non-Western countries. And this is what we have to realize. Now, it is the Israeli people who are under an existential threat from Iran. And I think they should take care of it, frankly. Also, Iran, I think a lot of people have to consider Iran and look at Iran on a spiritual basis. The United States is the great Satan, or the big Satan. And then you have Israel, that's the little Satan. Are they an immediate threat to the United States of America? I believe they are. And the reason why I say that is because Trump believes they are. Guys, we know that Trump is not a neocon. We know that Trump is not a warmonger. This isn't a guy that wants to get in a war. He's changed his wording. He went from I to we earlier. I believe it was today or yesterday when he started talking about missions over Iran and taking control of the airspace in Iran. This isn't a guy that wants war. You have the MAGA base that is in turmoil. Oh, Trump is breaking his promise. Trump isn't breaking his promises. I've heard forever. One of the things that I loved about Trump most in his first administration is he made me rethink how I thought about foreign policy. There's evil people in the world. There's dictators in the world. But maybe sometimes, I know this is, I know this is hard to hear, but sometimes it may be okay, or it may be the best decision politically, I'll say, to allow some bad people, again, like Saddam Hussein or Muammar Gaddafi, to remain in office to keep the area or the region stabilized. This isn't the case in Iran. Iran is the destabilizing factor in the Middle East. This is why. How come you don't hear the Saudis? How come you don't hear the UAE or these Egypt? How come you don't hear them up in arms about the destruction of Iran at the hands of Israel? How come you don't hear from these people? Because they want to see Iran gone too. They realize that these are the cray-cray people in that region. And if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, Saudi Arabia already said, hey, we need a nuclear weapon if they get one, because they're going to have to protect themselves from Iran. They realize that these people are dangerous, and Iran will use it. Why? I did a podcast last week. We talked about the 12th Imam. These are people that believe in Iran, the mullahs of Iran, the Ayatollah of Iran. They believe that they can bring on the 12th Imam, their prophet, if you will, by taking us down, by taking the little Satan down, by taking the big Satan. They believe that they've got to bring that person on, or bring that person about by killing us. I mean, it's insane, but this is what they believe. So no, I don't believe that America should put boots on the ground. And frankly, I for one, even though I'm a little torn on this, but I don't necessarily want our bombers to go over the region and drop the Moab if necessary. I'd rather Israel do it. I believe that this is their war. I believe that it's the Iranian people, it's the Persian people that have to be the ones that fight for their freedom. But I also understand this. The Ayatollah has already been online on Twitter chirping these people, the Iranian regime, not the people, but the Iranian regime, have killed our soldiers on the battlefield. They've shot at our vessels with their proxies, whether it's the Houthis in the Red Sea. These are people that have paid for the Houthis. These are people that have paid Hamas, Hezbollah, all of their proxies in the region. And now they're left defenseless because they spend so much money making themselves rich and paying for all of these murderous people around the region to be able to kill Jews, to be able to kill Americans. And now they're left almost defenseless. And so Israel has been able to have their way with them over the air. We've got more news coming out on this issue, and we'll talk about it more. I'll play some video for it for you. But also, Trump had said everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. Iran should have signed the deal, he said. I told them to sign. What a shame. A waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. The Jerusalem Post writes, Iranian media reported several explosions, heavy air defense fire in the Iranian capital of Tehran on Tuesday. Explosions were further reported in Tehran's east and southeast. Witnesses told Iranian dissident media site Iran International. Additionally, according to Iran International on X, witnesses reported multiple explosions in Avaz, in the oil-rich province of, I can't pronounce this word, Kazakhstan, Khuzestan, in southwest Iran. This, according to the Jerusalem Post. The Times of Israel wrote, U.S. President Donald Trump has requested that National Security Council be prepared in the Situation Room. This actually happened earlier today as he returns early from the G7 summit. How tiny does the G7 summit or the group look without Trump there? I mean, honest to goodness, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's worth having these summits anymore. I'm like, can't these guys just make a phone call? But we got more. I want to continue to take on this issue, including the divisions that are occurring amongst the ranks. Is this America first? Yes. When you have a nation that wants to kill the big Satan, obviously Trump is privy to information that we don't have, intelligence that we don't have. This isn't a man that wants war. So if you have Trump all of a sudden kind of shifting like, hey, I don't like the way that Iran is dealing. I gave them 60 days. That tells me that he's seen something that's really, really, really bad. We'll be back. Carl Jackson. All right, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show. Nuke the nukes. I'm talking about Iran. Listen, I want Israel to destroy the nuclear program. Oh, Carl, they've been saying this for 15, 20 years. Yeah, obviously, you guys haven't been reading about the people that literally Israel, the scientists over the years, that Israel has been assassinating to slow down their progress. And now they've gotten to a point of no return. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want Iran, frankly, or at least the mullahs of Iran to have any uranium because they're going to use it for enrichment. They're going to want to kill Jews. That they're going to want to kill Americans. Right now, Trump is calling for the unconditional surrender from Iran. It says the U.S. knows where the supreme leader is hiding. Could you imagine hearing that from the American president? These people have got to be panicking already. I mean, you've had the Mossad. Just infiltrate the infrastructure of Iran, the closest circles of the Ayatollah Khamenei, and I mean, killing off some of their top intelligence officials. It's absolutely crazy how they've been working. I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. The targeted strikes that Israel has pulled off have been, I mean, absolutely miraculous. It's just amazing what they're doing. And so you got to imagine that the Ayatollah is absolutely paranoid. I want to play a video clip for you really quickly here. This is clip number 13. This is literally, I believe, an Iranian TV station that was hit while the woman was on air. Let's play this. Cut number 13, por favor, Gabe.
صدای متجاوز به خاک وطن، صدای متجاوز به صدای حق و حقیقت است. آنچه که ملاحظه کردید، صدایی که شنیدید، فضای غبارآلود استودیو
That's how you end propaganda. Wow. That's how Israel ends propaganda. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Well, Israel doesn't play. And you can imagine these people that have felt so emboldened in Iran are no longer feeling emboldened. And guys, listen, again, Trump isn't talking about putting troops on the ground. I'm not even sure that Trump wants to fly any missions over Iran. I do believe that this is Israel's war, but I understand why the United States would want to be a part of it if Trump so decided to do so, because Iran has killed, the mullahs of Iran have killed our soldiers on the battlefield, and they got something coming. And frankly, if Israel wants to buy a Moab, hey, let's sell it to them. I'm down for that. Get rid of this threat once and for all. But no, I don't want to see American troops on the ground. But this isn't going to be some long, drawn-out war. I mean, frankly, it seems as though the regime in Iran are basically ready to topple. This is Iran's most heavily fortified Fordo. Let me tell you what this is. So basically, this is Iran's. This is what the IDF wants to get rid of. Iran's most heavily fortified and deepest nuclear facility. It's the crown jewel. This, according to the Wall Street Journal, the crown jewel. It's called Fordow, Iran's nuclear program, the Fordow fuel enrichment plant. And that still remains, housing several thousand centrifuges and buried 80 to 100 yards underground. I hear that it's 95. The facility would allow Iran to reconstitute a fissile material stockpile, even if other elements of its nuclear infrastructure are badly damaged. Israel has two options to destroy Fordow. All right, it can drop a large number of 1,000 pound and 5,000 pound bunker busters, using its understanding of the facility's design to maximum damage and dig through layers of soil, rock, and concrete. That would take several strike waves, according to the Wall Street Journal, increasing the risk that Iran's remaining air defenses might, quote, trap Israeli fighters. Alternatively, Israel could stage a commando raid, physically sabotaging the site with profound risk to personnel. The most natural option is instead an American strike on Fordow. The U.S. developed the massive ordnance penetrator, or MOP. I said Moab, so excuse me. A 30,000 pound bunker buster, depending on the facility design and penetration angle. It will likely take between 3 and 8 MOPs to cripple Fordow. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But again, Trump is speaking pretty loud and clear. He says that he knows where Iran has hidden the Ayatollah Khamenei while Israel continues to drop bombs. He says, quote, "We know exactly where their so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but it is safe there. We are not going to take him out and kill him." In parentheses, you know what would be chilling to me about this line if I was the Ayatollah? When he says, but is safe there. Like, if you're the Ayatollah, wherever there is, that's where you are. And Trump is claiming that he knows where there is. Everybody around this guy's been getting smoked. His leading officials, they've been getting smoked, taken out. Mr. Trump, or President Trump, continued on social media, had to Washington Times, "But we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin." So you've got a lot of people out there, MAGA people. Hey, we listen. We don't want any long, drawn out wars. These forever wars. We don't want to get. We don't want to get into that. And that's not what's happening here at all. Honestly, whether it's comparing this to Iraq, whether this is comparing this information or what's happening between Iran and Israel to the weapons of mass destruction, which frankly I do believe existed. I believe they were taken into Syria, but nonetheless, I mean, it is totally apples and oranges. Again, you have the bad guys that stabilize the region, and Muammar Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein. And then you have people like the mullahs of Iran, like the Ayatollah, that are the crazy people that are destabilizing the region. I mean, it's just a totally different beast. Nobody's talking about going there and getting mired into some long time war. You have Israel that have the Mossad that is embedded so deeply inside of of Iran's infrastructure, the regime's infrastructure, that they're paranoid. They don't know who to trust. They don't know who to believe. They literally built, when they did the drone strike, what was that, a few days ago or last week or whatever, Friday, I believe it was, when they did the drone strike and hit specific targets, they built the manufacturing facility inside of Iran. And they had the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and all of these people so paranoid, they didn't know what questions to ask or who to ask about this particular facility and manufacturing. They don't trust each other. So this is psychological warfare that the Israeli people have been waging, or the IDF and Netanyahu have been waging against Iran. They've done a great job. In another post, Trump called for Iran's unconditional surrender. In all caps, he said earlier, "We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran." So that's the statement that I think got a lot of people bugged out. He now says we. We now have complete and total control over the skies of Iran. He added, Iran had good sky trackers and other defensive equipment and plenty of it, but it doesn't. But it doesn't compare to American made, conceived, and manufactured stuff. Nobody does it better than the good old USA. Guys, Trump isn't going to get us into World War III. I've talked to you about this. I believe that we're already fighting a type of World War III that we're already in. And frankly, I believe that it advanced big time under the auto pens or under the Biden administration. Now you have Trump playing cleanup in aisle 10. This is not the same presidency. This is not the same. I'm sorry. You can't project the 2016 through 2020 foreign policy of Trump onto this presidency because the world has totally changed. These dictators around the world have run amok. Biden's don't strategy didn't work. Putin advanced. China has advanced. Iran has grown monetarily, militarily. It's a different world. And so I guarantee you, I trust that Trump is, this is ironically, this is the place, the situation, foreign policy where I trust Trump the most. And his trip to the Middle East, to me, seems even more brilliant today because you get all of these other nations on the sideline and you're able to focus on Iran. I guarantee you these other nations told him what they thought about Iran, which probably makes Trump feel a lot more comfortable about what Israel is doing to destroy Iran. Now, we want the Iranian people to be safe. We want them to fight for their country. We want them to topple the regime. But I got to tell you what, I don't mind helping them one bit. All right, guys, until next time, don't grow weary doing good.